Welcome to Exploring Fredericton Homes. I'm Chris Turner.
And I'm Trevor Thurrett. In today's episode, we'll focus on the move to and from military bases.
We're going to speak with three people, either experts in their field or people who have a ton of experience with postings.
I've actually been a military spouse for about 24 years.
Oh.
So we've been everywhere from Winnipeg, Borden, Petawawa, Trenton, and now here. So a few
Okay.
postings along the way.
Tell me about postings in choosing where you go. Were you able to choose Fredericton, or did you choose any of those other options?
To a degree, you get to put down your choices. So they always have their three preferences, but at the end of the day, it ends up we go wherever they need you. So coming out here, we actually anticipated staying in Ontario for a while longer. There was a need to come out here, and my husband's done a lot of training out this way. So it was a great opportunity to bring our family out and experience the East Coast.
Is it something where you can request to stay, or is that just one of your options?
So we have a lot of family in Ontario. So for us, we were trying to just kind of rotate through the province and stay local. But what it ends up working out is whenever they have a need somewhere, a position comes up, it's good for his career to build. And so we often go where we need to be.
Now, speaking of careers, you're talking about him furthering his career. Tell me about your career as a military spouse as this has gone on.
So I was teaching kindergarten for 9 years. So moving here kind of brought on some new opportunities.
Sure.
And I decided it was time to take some time for me to discover what I wanted to do and start building my career, and I got into real estate.
How long ago was that?
I've been at it for 2 years now.
How do you feel that your career has kind of meshed with the military spouse aspect of things?
I think my experience with all of our postings and kind of knowing what I expect in a realtor has helped me moving forward with this career. When you're being posted, you basically have 5 days to find a house and get everything sorted out to be able to move here.
5 days?
Yes.
Short amount of time.
Yeah.
So with that, do they have the advanced knowledge of who they're going to be working with? Do they get to choose? Tell me about their experience, about professionals. Are they able to seek you out in advance, that type of thing?
Yep, so there are a lot of groups on Facebook that I do chat with people and try to give some advice. But also BGRS has a third-party service provider list. So there's quite a number of us that are on that list that you can go through, choose that. That just helps them because they know that we've agreed to the commissions that are set out by BGRS.
Right.
So there are different avenues that they can go to find their realtors.
You mentioned BGRS. What is that group?
It's Brookfield Global Relocation Services. So they are the ones that help out with all the aspects of the move.
So sorry to focus on the 5-day turnaround, but it seems like such a quick answer to such an important move. Can you talk about the perils that you've seen in doing such a quick turnaround and making a decision about buying a house so quickly?
Yeah. So often before the move, you're kind of tracking what's going on in the market, trying to keep track, see what homes are available that you're interested in. When you get here, you often have your list of which homes you want to see. Of course, in a market like this, a lot of those homes will already have accepted offers or be sold. So there's a lot of pressure to try and get out and see everything that you can. I know some of our house hunting trips, we've seen 30 homes in 2 days and have to make a decision because in that time, you also have to make sure you line up your home inspectors, any other inspections you're having done, and try to get, potentially schools looked at. I've had to secure employment while I've been down on a house hunting trip. So there's a lot of aspects that you have to consider when you come for that trip.
So how do you balance that availability versus just the craziness that is the market sometimes?
So usually before I have clients that are coming, my day before is usually pretty busy. So I usually have my clients line up which homes they're interested in. The day before, I'm checking into which ones are still available and then trying to make a plan so that we can see anything that's out there. Even if it's not on their list, I will still pull some because a lot of times you don't know until you walk into the house.
Of course.
So a lot of planning to make sure you can get into as much as you can within the first, I would say, day or two of the trip.
And do you find that there's a big difference between somebody who's being posted for the first time or somebody who's been posted a few times? There's a difference in what to expect.
So I guess with the first time postings, you want to really walk them through the process. They haven't done it before.
Right.
When somebody has been through the process before, they still do come up with a lot of questions because every posting is still going to be different.
Sure.
Every house purchase is different, so there's a lot of aspects that they may not have encountered.
Do you find that Base Gagetown is often a choice for a retirement destination in the military?
I think it really depends where people's families are. I do find that a lot of people who've been here, like I haven't heard a lot of negativity about postings here. So I would definitely say that people would be open to that. But quite often I think you end up going back to where your family is.
So tell me, when you first moved here, you said that's been a couple of years now. And so it sounds to me like that may have happened in the middle of COVID, is that correct?
Yes, we moved here in 2021. At that time, you weren't allowed to do a house hunting trip, so we did everything virtually.
Wow.
So I don't know about you, I don't love purchasing my clothing online, but we had to buy a house online and go with it.
So how were you able to determine what the right house for you was in a time where you couldn't even travel?
It was very stressful, not knowing if it was the right house, if we were going to get there and not love it. We really had to, I guess, just trust the process, and definitely having virtual showings and stuff was a huge help for us.
You had experienced a lot of virtual showings when you were looking to move, but how do you think that has helped with house hunting tours or postings in general?
So because we did everything virtually, I kind of know what some of the look-fors were when we were looking and the things that had concerned us. I do find that there's still a lot of people that will do virtual showings now. With a market the way it is right now, there's not a lot of inventory, so if the perfect house comes up, you want to have an opportunity to get in, view the house, potentially put an offer in on it, and then still be able to come on a house hunting trip after to secure everything.
Do you feel that there are certain conditions that become more important in that situation?
Absolutely. I think the home inspection at that point helps to give another set of eyes. I'm not a home inspector, so I can walk you through, I can point out the things that I see. But having a home inspector do an inspection on the house gives that extra peace of mind for the buyer that they're getting a good property.
Welcome back to Exploring Fredericton Homes.
In this part of the episode, we're going to meet with a mortgage specialist who helps military members purchase a home. So Daniel, if you weren't in the banking industry, what would you be doing?
When I was younger, I flipped a couple houses, kind of stopped doing it, but I wish I didn't, because who would have known that real estate would have been the way it is right now.
So Dan, I wanted to talk to you. It's posting season here in New Brunswick, which is a big time for the banking industry itself. And you're with BMO, correct?
Yes, Bank of Montreal, the official bank of the Canadian Armed Forces.
Okay, so how many postings would you see from your job per year?
I myself, I could see a range from 80 to 150 directly that I deal with. Now there are two other mobile mortgage specialists. We're looking probably roughly the same. BMO as a whole, I don't know exactly how much, but personally 80 to 150 just in the first round of postings.
And would you have any sort of idea of the scope of the amount of people that are being posted in and out per year?
I would say probably 60% of my clients are being posted in.
Okay.
And the rest are heading out west or whatever the case may be.
It seems like this year's is a lot faster for postings coming in. It seems like it's almost back to what it looked like in 2013 with a high influx of people coming in all at once.
Yeah, COVID, that was horrible for the Canadian Armed Forces, all those getting posted. It was all virtual, and there was a lot of regret when things were being bought. But after that, there was a slowdown. Now, if it was policy or the rates, whatever case, but this year, absolutely, there's a big difference between now and the last 3 years. Even I'm shocked on how busy it is and how much postings are happening right now.
So when you say BMO is the official bank of the military, like what are the benefits to the military that BMO would offer?
With Bank of Montreal, we have specialized rates just for the military. Now, under the program, also RCMP and Border Patrol, anything federal, but our main focus is the Canadian Armed Forces.
So, what got you started in dealing with the military? Was it your experience with BMO, or I know you've been in the banking industry a long time. Did you have that experience with other banks?
Yes, personally, when I was 18, straight out of high school, I joined the Canadian Armed Forces. Loved it. Then during my QL3 in Kentville, Nova Scotia, unfortunately, I hurt myself, so I had to get out. My brother's currently in the Air Force as well, so I'm all about the military. I've always been about the military. When I was with TD Bank, BMO headhunted me, said, "Hey, we're the bank in the military." Immediately, that got me. I said, because I'm all about the Canadian Armed Forces. I think they should be treated with utmost respect, and that's what brought me here, and I think I'll stay.
So you say it brought you here. Where are you originally from? Fredericton and surrounding area?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Fredericton. I spent a few years out in Fort McMurray. Unfortunately, after the fire, I came back. TD headhunted me, started with them as a mobile mortgage specialist. Then Bank of Montreal approached me 5 years ago. Been in love with it ever since, and I can't see myself moving.
Okay. And your experience with your brother in the military, so has he gone through the process of buying and selling?
Absolutely. He was living in, I think it was Gatineau for about 6 years, living in the PMQs. And unfortunately, they're not the best standards right now, so a lot of people want to get out of it. When he got posted in Nova Scotia and Halifax about 3 years ago, I said, "Tim, you need to get a house. The benefits, you being in the military, he didn't even know." And I know they do a lot of educational parts with BMO, letting them know the benefits, but I advise him, "Tim, get with the program, buy a house," and he's glad he did 3 years ago. And he knows the benefits. He's with BMO now, and he'll maintain and stay with BMO as long as we're the banking military.
And do you think there's a lot of advantage for like young guys getting in the military to buy houses, or what's your thought process there?
It's always great if someone could afford. It's about affordability. We don't want somebody to buy a home and basically be broke after the process. So when I get someone that calls me and they're just asking questions, I say, like, what's your standard of living? I'd love to get you a house. I know the PMQs, it's not the preferred method of living, but at the end of the day, if you could afford it, I suggest it. Buying a house, I mean, we all know the values of homes are only going to go up for the next 10, 20 years. Buy now, even if the rates are a little high, because if you wait a couple of years, even if rates go down, the value of homes are going to go up. Therefore, you're going to end up costing even more. So if a young client calls me and he's interested, I run some numbers and I give my honest opinion. Prior to being a mortgage specialist, I was a financial advisor and all that, and I don't want to do anything that's in the best interest of the client. So if he's with the military, I tell him all the great benefits. I suggest do it if you could afford it.
And what are some of the challenges that you're finding young buyers are up against, other than the housing prices coming up, or do you attribute some of the challenges being the interest rates? What are you seeing?
What I see is, the stress test, the way it is right now, 2% above the 5-year fixed, it was a great idea when the rates were low, because obviously we know rates weren't going to stay that way. But with them still there, with the rates over 5, trying to get someone approved with the stress test, that's what I find the young clients are having now, is the affordability. They just don't have room in the debt ratio to support it with the cost of living. And the second hardest part is the down payment. I mean, that's really what people struggle for. It's hard to save when the cost of living is so high. So for them, it's usually the down payment. Actually, I would say the down payment is the number one issue. Second is the affordability with the stress test the way it is.
It seems like there might be some big advantages to people who are getting posted on a reasonably consistent basis by the time they have their fees covered and all the other benefits that come along with the military. Do you see it as a big financial advantage for them?
One of the benefits when it comes to the postings is one, they could break with BMO, take a new one, but with BGRS, all the realtor fees are covered. Their appraisal fees, their home inspections, their closing costs. Actually, that's another thing that people struggle with, is their closing costs. They save up for the down payment, but they don't realize how expensive closing costs are. So with a posting, when it's the military clients, the only thing we talk about is we just got to focus, get your down payment settled, the rest is taken care of. And it's a great process. I just get a copy of the posting agreement, and I said, listen, I'm going to take care of everything else for you. And all you have to worry about is just your down payment. And usually it's the proceeds of a sale from another home. So it's a great process, the whole posting situation. But it's an easy process when it comes to that. As long as you're dealing with someone like myself, who is educated, who knows the process of doing it for 5 years. And actually, sometimes I'll actually educate my clients who are in the military that actually don't know this. So that's another great benefit of the Bank of Montreal. We've been through it. We know the process. We could help these clients go through it because it is an easy process once you know what it is.
Well, then it seems like the process changes every year. There's always new rules, new things coming into effect. So I can see how that'd be very important for somebody such as yourself to stay on top of that. When you are starting to deal with new clients, how do you find the process of them gathering the information?
Well, the great thing about military is their documents, it's very straightforward. With the Canadian Armed Forces, their mid-month pay is what we go by, and then their last year's T4. And it's great with the military because they just enter their code, they send it to me, and really that's all that is. Like, it's such a smooth, easy process. I love dealing with the military just for that fact. But it's great. They're quick, very straightforward.
And do you find that as many people are coming in pre-approved for their house hunting trips now? Because that used to almost be mandatory.
Yeah, well, it depends. I mean, most realtors nowadays, when they get a client, regardless military or not, they want that pre-approved letter. Usually with military clients, they're up on their game. They know the process to get there, find the house, get the deal closed, get everything done. I find the ones that have been through it, they know the process. The younger ones buying for the first time, they don't know the whole benefits, and I'm actually educating them on it. But anything I ever say to them when it comes to the whole process, we say, hey, double check with BGRS, but I do believe this is the process for you. Rather you get your default insurance paid back, how much, who qualifies for it. I give them what I know, but I always advise to double check and confirm with BGRS, because as you said, as you mentioned, things do change. That's pretty standard for the basic things of what's covered. But yeah, small things change. If I'm not aware, if I think there might have been a change, I always say, hey, double check with BGRS just to confirm.
We now return to Exploring Fredericton Homes. I'm Chris Turner.
And I'm Trevor Thurrett. In the final part of our show, we'll meet a military member who is getting prepared to leave Base Gagetown for another posting.
So Steve, you and your wife Erica are being posted. How long have you known that you were going to be posted?
I think the first idea that we might get posted was 2 months ago, like April, March, something like that.
Has it been something that you guys have been wanting for a while, or?
I definitely have. She's nervous about the market that we're moving into. For myself, anything closer to home was better in Ontario. Like, that was our posting preference. And yeah, like we ended up getting that. We were thinking that we were going to be here another year, but you know, that's how life goes.
So Steve, you came here when you were 20 with your first posting.
Yeah.
How have you found life on the East Coast?
It's been amazing. You know, initially when I was going through training, I wanted to end up in Petawawa, where the other battalions are, and I didn't want to come here. But hindsight 2020, like, it really worked out. This is a beautiful place to have grown up.
Do you find it hard with the transition of making so many friends down here and then going to a new area, or is there enough camaraderie through the military that it just feels like you're picking up anew anytime you get posted?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, this is my first time posted.
Right.
So this is my first time leaving my unit, and so I'll let you know when I get there. But you know, life is what you make it, and if you go in there with a positive attitude, you'll have those positive results.
So you're originally from Ontario, so was that kind of the dream posting to get closer to your home and your family?
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily the dream posting. Like, I'm definitely moving into a crazy market, financially wise, but I definitely wanted to spend some time near my parents, near my folks, so with my son and everything. Well, because they're much older, like they're in their 80s and everything.
What would have been your second choice as far as posting?
Oh, second, to anywhere in Ontario would have been like great for me. Like, literally anywhere, as long as it wasn't like North Bay or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And does a lot of the postings kind of depend on the trades that you're in with the military?
Definitely for myself. My wife, not as much. Like, she could be posted anywhere. They had some ideas for me to go to Petawawa, but they want to keep us a family unit, and that is what works out for us.
So Does that happen a lot? Now, I've heard the term IR, where one family member will get posted out. What is IR?
IR is you essentially leaving your family for a little while and filling in a position away from them in a different base, and the Army compensates you for that. It's kind of a nice trick if you want to stay in that area, because if they're posting you away, then that means they're going to bring you back. You know.
So with all the postings you're going to make and like clear over Canada, I think with Erica's role in the military as well, all of the different postings you're going to take, you're going to have so many different transitions. You're going to be able to meet so many people. It'll almost be hard, like, to keep moving. And as Asher gets older and he gets in school, like, does that stuff make you nervous for getting posted down the road?
You know, we'll see. Like, we'll take it day by day. My friend kind of made a deal with his training command that he wanted to spend 4 years in the area for his kids in high school. Right. I like that as well, but at this point in my life, my career, home is where the Army posts me.
So you're moving to a market that is certainly much more expensive than here, but how do you find the actual process of selling your home? Is it stressful? Is it nerve-wracking? Is there a lot of excitement?
I'm definitely not nervous myself. My wife seems to be rather nervous. So I feel I'm feeling the nervousness only from her. Personally, I'm very excited to be moving to the big city.
It's a hard process at the best of times. Do you find that the military makes it easier for you to be able to do these kinds of transitions?
Yeah, well, I mean, they give you a house hunting trip. They definitely help you facilitate the move. Everything's set up. Paid for by the military. It's great.
When you go on your house hunting trip, how will that look?
Just a week essentially of driving around looking at apartments or houses to buy, and just figuring out what works for us. Where we have like a list of things we want. You know, big backyard for my dog, which might be an issue. Nice place for my kid to be in daycare, also geographically like located close to where we're going to be working or where we're living, one of those two.
And where it is a couple posting, will you both be working in the same area?
No, we're not working in the exact same area. We're both working in the same city, but in different parts.
So when you got posted here when you were 20, would you have kind of imagined this was the way your life was going to go, or?
Oh. Well, when I was 20, I had no vision of my future. I was just taking it day by day. Now that I have a family, I have like ideas for the future. But when I was 20 years old, you're 20-year-old. You know, you're just trying not to be in trouble at work and do your best and have a positive attitude.
You've got your house ready to go for sale because of your posting. You're about to do your house hunting trip. Was there a lot of work in prepping the house to get it ready?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you want to look nice for the market, as my realtor suggested, you know, get a nice paint job on it, and just in general, like we've put a lot of work in the house. We thought we were going to be here a little bit longer, so we might have been thinking about like a long-term living here, and we put a lot of money into it, new fence, new deck, new siding, and breaks my heart to be leaving it, honestly. It's like the perfect home for my young family.